Hi class, good morning. It's first day here in Econ 202, Principles of Microeconomics, and just as we would if we were meeting face to face, I want to take some time to introduce myself and give you a little bit more information about how this class is going to work. All right, so first up, my name is Tyler Pronte. I teach economics, of course. I teach at several schools around Southern California. At COC, obviously. I live up here in Santa Clarita, and so that's really handy for me. I enjoy teaching at COC. But most of the classes that I teach are actually at Valley College, a little bit further south, Los Angeles Valley College, and then some other places here and there. Those are my main jobs. I teach classes here in Principles of Microeconomics, just like this one. I teach Principles of Macroeconomics every semester. I teach U.S. economic history, and sometimes I teach other ones here and there, environmental economics or comparative systems and things like that. But this is a class that is one of my very favorites to teach, and I've taught it a whole bunch. In terms of more background stuff, I went to school at the University of New Mexico in Albuquerque. I studied there for 5 years. I have a PhD in economics from New Mexico. Before that, I'm from San Diego originally. So first college that I went to was a community college called Grossmont College in San Diego. And after that, I went to San Diego State for a couple years. I got my bachelor's degree in economics. That was a long time ago now. That was about, I've been teaching for about 12 years. Most days I love it. It's a good job. I really enjoy the interaction that I have with students. And so hopefully we'll have some of that interaction here in this weird semester that we're going to have. What else? Personal stuff, sort of unrelated to work. I'm married. My wife and I have a couple of kids who are getting set up, doing their distance learning stuff here right now. So that's really what I do mainly, is spend time with those guys. Aside from that, my biggest hobby, my number one most favorite thing to do is to ride my bike. I'm crazy about it, especially mountain bikes, but I ride bikes of all types, road bikes and triathlon stuff, and it's just my favorite. And so I do that a lot. I love kind of just discovering new things and new places, be it restaurants or new hikes or just places I haven't been. That's one of my favorite things about living here in Southern California, and the proximity that we have to so many cool things. Okay, so that's just a little bit about me. You guys will see as you get going here, we're going to have a discussion where we're doing sort of class intros, kind of similar to what I just did. I'm looking forward to getting to know you guys a little bit as well. And so please share that introductory info with me and your classmates there in the discussion forum. Okay. The other main goal then that I have with this first video is to walk through some of the mechanics of the class, right? A lot of times an obstacle for people is figuring out, like, what exactly do I do in an online class? And so I want to address that here today, right from the jump. First thing that you should do is to read over all of the information in the Getting Started module. That's where I've placed the syllabus. That's where I've explained all the assignments. I've talked about office hours, the textbook, things like that. You're already in the right place. If you're watching this video, you found the Getting Started module, but it's worth your time here in the beginning to make sure that you go over all of that. Some of the highlights there, first, click on the syllabus, right? Of course, that's going to outline in detail all the rules and procedures for the class and so on. One of the things that you'll see in that syllabus is information about our textbook for the class. This is really key, right? Especially with an online class. The book that you're going to want to get should look something like this, right? The key things to note here is that this is titled Principles of Microeconomics, and the author here is N. Gregory Mankiw. Note that the edition that I'm holding up here is the 8th edition. Now, this book, along with many others, are going to be quite expensive if you buy it brand new probably from the college bookstore. And so you can go that route. That's probably the most straightforward way. But you can save money definitely by getting a little bit creative. And so I encourage you guys to do that. Older editions are okay, right? I wouldn't go back too far. But if you're using something that's around the 8th edition, I think that's just fine. One little cautionary thing, if you are going to use an older edition, take note of the chapter titles, because oftentimes the chapters will be similar in content, but they'll be in a slightly different order. So just make sure that you're reading the chapter on supply and demand or whatever it is that we're going over, even if yours are numbered differently. So older editions are okay. Ebooks are okay. Sometimes people ask if they can use a textbook here by a different author. I wouldn't go that route. All principles textbooks are going to be pretty similar, but they use slightly different language. So look again for same author here and that it's got microeconomics rather than macroeconomics. All right. Other getting started stuff. Office hours, right? Obviously, we're not going to be meeting then like face-to-face, but instead I'll hold office hours this semester via Zoom. So I've put in that Getting Started module a little link where every Tuesday at noon, you can click on that link and I'll be waiting there in the Zoom conference. So if you have questions and want to talk, that's the way to do it. You can do that. You're also welcome, of course, just to email me anytime you like. You can see that in the syllabus. And you're also welcome to just direct message me in Canvas. I'm sure you guys are familiar with this. There's a little feature there where you can message your professor, and it works just like email. I get those pretty regularly. So yeah, that's textbook and office hour information. What else? As we start moving through the content of the class, you're going to see that I've organized things into 10 different modules, right? I think a lot of professors do this, right? So think of these as like little mini units that we're going to do. And within each one, there'll be a series of tasks that you're supposed to do to help you learn the material. They're all going to start with reading the book, right? So read the text, the chapter from the textbook, corresponding with the particular module. That's a good place to start. Along with the reading, I've put together little miniature YouTube videos, just like this one, not talking about the class, but instead talking about content. So watch those. A good practice as well to help you learn the material is to do some of those practice problems that are at the end of the chapter. And so I always recommend that for people when they're looking for extra practice. I've started the process of making videos to go through and show solutions to these. And so you can click on those if you want to try a problem for yourself, and then take a look at how I addressed that particular problem. Those things that I've mentioned so far are not graded or for points or anything like that, but rather just to help you learn the material. Once you finish with those things, you can begin then with the stuff that is associated, the things that are associated with points. First, there's going to be homework problem sets, right? The homework for this class is through a program called Sapling Learning, okay? Sapling requires a subscription. It is $42 to sign up for this. Once you are logged in, and there's information on how to do so in the Getting Started module, you'll find a whole bunch of problems waiting for you there so that you can dig in and really encounter the material in a way that's going to be useful for you, I hope. Right? So there's graphing problems, there's vocabulary problems, there are calculation-based problems, there's a whole bunch. And so those are for points. There's going to be one of those one assignment associated with each module that we have in the class. You can all see it just right there, and it'll say the due date. Take note that for the Sapling assignments, it's a different program and a different website than Canvas, of course. So you'll need to log into that separately, right? And I sort of simultaneously look at scores from both those things, the scores from Canvas and the scores from Sapling. All right. Once you're through with the homework assignment, the main thing that you'll see, the most important assignment within each module, is a end of module quiz. You'll take that in Canvas. These quizzes are timed. The quizzes have, I think, 30 questions on each one. They're timed in a way so that it's a binding constraint. You're going to need to move quickly. It should be enough time, but it definitely won't be enough time if you're not prepped for it sufficiently. So that's really key advice, is that before you sit down to take any of those quizzes, make sure that you've made out for yourself a good game plan, right? You don't want to be taking the quiz while thinking about a problem for the first time, right? Or a little bit fuzzy still on what a term is. The way to succeed and the way to really do well is to, of course, be ready to go before you take the quiz. I think this is obvious stuff. All right, so to recap, so far for assignments, we've talked about Sapling homework, we've talked about end of module quizzes. What else? We're going to have midterms, 2 of them this semester, one at the halfway point covering modules 1 through 5, right? It'll be just like the quizzes, except it covers 5 chapters worth of material rather than just 1. A second midterm near the end of the class, covering the last 5 modules. And then one more big test, that's the final exam. Got to have a final. That final is cumulative, structured just like the quizzes, just like the midterms, but covering everything that we've learned about in the wide world of microeconomics. All right. Those are the main ones. Some smaller, maybe more adjacent or minor type assignments that we're going to have. There'll be discussions. The first one is up, just the introductory thing, so go do that. There's 4 discussion assignments throughout the term. Do those. That's a really good way to boost up your grade a little bit, get some points. And then finally, I've built in 3 comprehension check assignments throughout the class. Okay, so what these are, think of it as like a quiz where you have just one question. Right? They're worth not that many points, I think 10 points each. And so periodically throughout the semester, you'll find that one of these is coming up, and it's going to ask you to do a little bit of writing, short answer thing, where I just want to check in and see where you are in terms of whether or not you're understanding that material. I really like these. It's a good way to evaluate learning in a different way than what I'm doing with some of those other assignments. All right. I think that's everything. That was fast. Let me see if there's anything else worth mentioning. No? Oh, due dates. The due dates are found in many places here within Canvas, but I think the best way to look for these is to check out the calendar link. You can find that from the home page in Canvas. Click on calendar, and it's going to list for you all the assignments that we have due for the whole semester. There's something due every week. I've tried to organize them. That helps me, and I hope it helps you guys too. You guys are going to see that pretty much you have something due on Wednesday and Thursday of every week, right? And so that's, just expect that, and that's a useful way to keep, I think, everybody on track and things. So look for those. Yeah, I think that's everything I have to say here for this first video. So again, guys, welcome to class. It's good to meet you virtually. I'm looking forward to reading what you guys have to say in that discussion forum, and I'll see you in the next video. Adios.